You guys don't know me, my name is Chris. I do training and education at Lakeshore Beverage. Um, like I said, I'm coming to you live from upstate New York right now. I'm actually on vacation and camping, so I'm at a brewery. It's literally the only place anywhere nearby that has Wi-Fi and is open, but it is a little noisy in here. But we're gonna go ahead and start. So kind of the theme today is summer grilling, and it's not really necessarily about pairing beer with food or how to pair beer with food. It's really more kind of around the idea of using grilling as a way to engage with customers, to get some upsells, to do cross merchandising. Um, Grilling and barbecuing are one of those things that kind of doesn't matter, you know, what your group of people are, like where what you belong to in the U.S. Pretty much everybody grills, and I think we could do a lot better as an industry, connecting with people around grilling and family and food, because that generally includes alcohol, and I think we could really utilize that to get more sales. So some reasons to highlight grilling. According to a recent article by Forbes, 75% of U.S. adults own a grill or a smoker. This next one is from an industry magazine. In 2019, there was over $1.36 billion worth of grills and barbecues sold in the United States. Recent CNN article, an estimated 80 million Americans cook on the grill every year. And then some more recent stuff, a recent industry study has shown that 76% of grill owners plan to cook outdoors more often during COVID-19. So with people being kind of stuck at their houses, they're going to spend more time outdoors in their yards with family. They're going to be grilling, and with that, they're going to be drinking as well. So what can we do to get people to purchase more product, purchase more beer, more wine, more spirits when they're going to be outdoors grilling? So some ways I think we can capitalize that, for the off-premise, it could be dedicating a section for grill-friendly products, highlighting those brands, calling them out. It could be a shelf, it could be a shelf and a cooler, it could be a cooler door, an end cap, a display, but something that's speaking to those people who are going to the store because they're going to be barbecuing, or they're going to be going to a friend's house for an outdoor party and there's barbecuing, and they're going to be looking for products. Guide them to it, and I think you'll find that that'll move through pretty quickly, and you're going to get additional sales. Another way is just using some shelf talkers to call out brands that pair well. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, but if you just have a little thing that says great with barbecues, grilling, and parties, I think you're going to see those products move. Another way is cross merchandising with other products. So if you're an off-premise retailer and you have the space, if you sell marinades or sauces or charcoal or anything associated with grilling, kind of combine some of those two things together and get some cross merchandise sales out of that, potentially increase the point of purchase. Another way is just to work with your suppliers to do a promotion around grilling. So a lot of breweries have coolers, they have grills, they have branded aprons and various things that can be used in a promotion that kind of centers around grilling. And you can get some additional sales out of that. In the on-premise, it's going to be more, using the food menu, your beverage list, your chalkboard, your table tones to call out brands on your menu that go well with certain things. So, having burger pairings on the menu just to kind of nudge the consumer in that direction, to get them to always be tacking on a beverage with the food that they're ordering. Another great way is to utilize a beverage, be it a beer, a wine, or a spirit, inside of a dish, and then running a pairing special with that product. So, easy one is, a burger that uses some beer in it, or uses some beer in one of the, caramelized onions or something that's on top of it, and then selling that beer along with it for a fixed price. So ways like that are just good for increasing sales, increasing the basket size, and kind of calling out those products. All right, so getting into some brands now, we're going to cover, I think, about 8 beers, and then a wine and a spirit RTD. So our first one is Bell's Two Hearted, which is really just a great food beer because it has a really good amount of bitterness to it, but it also has a really good malt backbone, which makes it perfect for any kind of grilled meat, blue cheese, anything that's like charred. It's going to pair very well with that. You know, some additional reasons to get behind this brand is it's one of the most recognizable brands in the country for craft brands. Already this year to date, just Lakeshore Beverage alone, we've had over $600,000 in sales of Bell's Two Hearted. So it's a very, very powerful brand that a lot of people know and enjoy. It's incredibly versatile with food pairings and as well as the ingredient used to cook. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a bunch of hooting and hollering happening in the brewery that I'm in. Some people might be overserved. It was voted the best beer in America for the last 3 years in a row by the American Home Brewers Association. And as you can see, it comes in a lot of different available formats, draft, cans, bottles. So whether you just need a couple cans to cook with, or you want a full barrel for a handle and use it as an ingredient in a recipe, we have that means for you. So our next beer is Moody Tongue Lemon Saison. One of the reasons why this pairs so well with food is that this entire brewery is built around food. So their head brewer, Jared Rubin, actually teaches the food and beer pairing classes at Cicerone. Their brew pub has a chef that has Michelin stars with 2 separate restaurants. Everything is brewed to be consumed with food. So it's really the kind of the perfect brewery for this. It's also local, which we all know that's a big thing still. People want local beers. It's featured at many high-end restaurants across Chicago. And, you know, it's brewed with Meyer lemon. So if you really think about it, like any dish that you would squeeze fresh lemon or put some fresh lemon zest on, this will be a great beer to pair with it. It's a little bit lighter, very carbonated. So think lighter dishes, grilled seafood, vegetable salad, fruit tart. Might not necessarily be your go-to thing for a steak or a burger, but you want to think, you know, the full spectrum. So our next beer is another local beer, Burn City Two-Headed Boy. This is a unfiltered German Pilsner. So by unfiltered, it means that they don't filter out any of the spent grain in there. It'll have like a slight bit of haze to it and a little bit more body than you would get from like a domestic Pilsner. They don't list the IBU in this beer publicly, but German Pilsners are generally around like 35 to 45 IBU. So they actually have a fairly good amount of bitterness to them, but they're also really light and clean and dry. And that kind of makes them exceptional at pairing with food because they're highly carbonated. Bitterness is acidity, it cuts through fat. So really great beer to drink with your food and not get kind of like too filled up from it. I'll kind of stick along like the German theme with this one. You know, bratwurst, hot dog, German potato salad. Just kind of makes sense. We have this currently in drafts, and we have 4 packs of 16-ounce cans. This is another Chicago local brewery. They're at Ashland and Hubbard. And then another strong food tie-in, Lily's Q, the famous barbecue restaurant that used to be in Ricker Park, recently lost their lease and moved into their brew pub. So very, very strong tie-in with barbecue and grilling with Lily's Q. So our next product is Alter Bleacher Seat. You know, this was a real big brand for us when we launched it last year because it ran for the full baseball season. Obviously, we didn't have the full baseball season this year, but it's coming back on 7/24, so this is kind of a perfect beer for that return. You know, it doesn't seem like people are going to really be able to pack Wrigley, you know, Wrigleyville, Wrigley Field. So I think a lot of people are going to be watching games at their houses, probably barbecuing. So this is going to be a really great beer for that. It is a wheat ale, so a little bit different style of the other two. Still kind of lower in ABV, easy drinking. You know, really great like chicken sausages, shrimp kebabs, any kind of like marinated Thai chicken, chicken thighs. Can be a really good pairing with that. Yeah, really just like kind of like a nice, easy drinking beer that has that great baseball tie-in. I didn't put a hot dog on there just because I think these are better pairings, but you know, bleacher seat and a hot dog, baseball, I think that works pretty well too. This was also our fastest alter seasonal in terms of sales in 2019. So I think as soon as baseball hits, this beer is going to be flying off the shelves. So another Chicago local beer, Goose Island's Natural Villain. They refer to this as a garage style lager. So it's really meant to be like a Chicago style beer that you can sit in your garage and pound all day. But also with the garage, it goes perfect with in the backyard as well, with barbecuing and grilling. A little bit of like mild hoppiness in it and like a touch of sweetness. So I think like, you know, if you're doing a hot dog, a veggie burger, even a meat burger, be great with that. Cool backstory on this beer. It was originally brewed for Pitchfork Music Festival with the Chicago band Twin Peaks, which is one of the larger bands from Chicago. It says that on the back of the label. So a lot of people will pick up this beer just because it was brewed with the band Twin Peaks. So if you can call that out, you know, with, hey, this is a, you know, take this to your barbecue, take this to your grilling party, and also call out the Twin Peaks aspect, I think you'll sell a lot of this beer. It's also very aggressively priced. You can see two 15 packs coming at $25. So it's a really great beer to show up at a barbecue party with. So our next beer is Alaskan Amber. This is actually one of my favorite beers in our portfolio, partially because it's a delicious beer, partially because it has a really cool story, and then also because Alaskan is just a really amazing brewery in terms of where they're located and their kind of story of sustainability. So a really cool thing about this beer is that it's brewed from 100% glacier fed water, and there's literally a glacier that butts up to the back of the brewery, and that's where they get their water source from. It's one of the most sustainable breweries in the world just by their location. There's no roads that connect where they're at to the rest of Alaska, so everything has to come in by ferry, and they literally have to reuse everything that they can just to be able to exist. So really awesome brewery from that standpoint. And it's a delicious beer. It's a unique style. It's based off a recipe from over 100 years ago from one of the first breweries to ever open up in Alaska for people who were kind of exploring the frontier. They call it, you know, an amber, but it really is an alt style beer, which is kind of an ale lager hybrid from Germany. It's got a little bit of maltiness into it, it's kind of smooth, but still like, you know, very easy drinking. So it just goes really, really well, really well with food. And if you're in Alaska, everywhere that sells seafood sells Alaskan Amber. So you drink it with crab, you drink it with salmon, you drink it with anything that's coming out of the ocean or coming out of the bays. So kind of stick with that side of salmon, pork chops, great with apple pie or apple crisp. Our next beer is Boulevard KOLSCH. So another cool style, you know, like they say it's a Colon style golden ale. And that's just kind of more of an American term for a Kolsch, which is another ale lager hybrid. This is, you know, a style that's been seeing some growth in the past few years. Golden ales are growing KOLSCHs are growing. It's had really strong IRI growth versus 2019. Comes out of Kansas City, which is a big barbecue town. The brewery does a lot with the local barbecue restaurants, so there's already kind of that tie-in with grilling and barbecue. You know, that lower ABV and like crispness with a little bit of honey really makes it a great kind of like picnic party beer. It's a day sipper. Kind of stick with like, you know, some of those German themes, the bratwurst, nutty cheeses. But I had this beer not too long ago with a watermelon and feta salad, and it paired so well with it just because it has that honey quality, also has that little like herbal hop finish. They just paired really, really nicely with that. Something you wouldn't really think to pair a beer with, and then you try it and you're like, oh, this is awesome. So another great beer to kind of call out and highlight to go with barbecue. Our next beer is Shiner Sea Salt and Lime. So with this, you're getting a lager, has sea salt and lime in it. So a little bit of acidity there, a little bit of saltiness. Add some complexity on top of the beer that's, you know, generally pretty easy to drink, a lager. So kind of think like Mexican street corn, tacos, skirt steak, things like that. Some kind of powerful reasons to carry this brand is the Shiner seasonals are up 60% in Chicagoland in 2019. We've just been selling a lot of Shiner. It's been doing really great in Chicago. The seasonals are kind of on fire. This one in particular was voted on by fans of the brewery. So they did like an online voting thing. Sea Salt and Lime was chosen by the drinkers to be the 2020 summer seasonal. So it's kind of a crowd favorite, a fan favorite. Again, this is brewed out of a strong barbecue area, Shiner, Texas. So it already kind of has that tie-in. People already associate Shiner Bock, their lead selling beer, with barbecue and grilling foods. So this is kind of easy to, you know, kind of tie into that. And then again, like I said, unique flavor profile, and it's available in many formats. So draft, cans, bottles, kind of have everything on it. All right, so that kind of concludes our beer for the day. We're going to cover a wine next, Babe Rosé. I still am not sure that everybody realizes that we are starting to get much more into wine and spirits at Lakeshore. We're really growing our portfolio. We recently hired someone to manage the wine and spirits portfolio for us. So you're going to be seeing a lot more coming out. But this is one of the first things that we've really gotten behind is the Babe Rosé. It's more of a sweeter style of sparkling rosé from California, brewed at the O'Neill winery. So Babe doesn't have its own winery called Babe. They brew it at O'Neill. But this was started by some Instagram, you know, some influencers, if you want to use that word, who really wanted to start a beverage brand. And they did, and that was Babe. And they have 43 million followers amongst them. So they're able to really saturate and reach a lot of people across social media. It's the most photographed wine brand on social media. So the younger generations, millennials, Generation Z, they know this product. Another great thing is it's 250 milliliters. So you're actually getting a glass and a half of wine, not just, you know, a single glass. Everybody wants more wine. It's also 12% ABV, so you know, you're getting a true wine in a can. Kind of included as Babe is a wine for all. It's not meant to be pretentious in any manner. It's meant to be a wine that anybody can drink. It's a wine about having fun. What's more fun than a barbecue or grilling in the backyard or on a Chicago patio with your friends? So if you show up with some wine, some Babe, I think you're going to be a hero. Also, canned wine is a big growing trend. You're just going to see more and more wineries moving to cans. They're kind of on the forefront of that. So, you know, when a brand's on the forefront, I think it's always good for retailers to be on the forefront as well, because you're going to sell it. People are looking for canned wines. All right, our next product is an RTD, a ready to drink. cocktail from Cutwater. This is their lime margarita. We carry a full portfolio of Cutwater spirits and cans. I want to say there's like 16 of them. I can't remember the exact number, but this is their #1 selling cocktail in their can lineup. So that's another powerful story there. Think things that you would have a margarita with: tacos, grilled skirt steak, shrimp skewers, things like that. It's made with Cutwater's award-winning spirits. So a lot of RTD companies, a lot of canned cocktails contract out their spirits from other companies. They don't do that. They have a distillery. They make all of their spirits there. So that just kind of makes a better cocktail that has a little bit more love in it. It's also 12.5% ABV, so it's not watered down. This is a true cocktail in a can. Gluten-free. A lot of people are looking for gluten-free products. So if you call out, hey, this is good for grilling, this is good for taking to a barbecue. It's also gluten-free. Just kind of more reasons for people to purchase. It's great served chilled over ice, and all you got to do is crack it open and pour. So if you're going to have a barbecue party and you don't want to be making cocktails, pick up a case of lime margarita, hand them out, people crack them open, pour them over ice, and you're good. And then canned cocktails, just like wine, are a fast growing trend. If you search, canned cocktails trends or canned cocktails COVID-19, you'll see all these articles come up from New York Times, Washington Post, Brewbound, Nielsen data, talking about how much the canned cocktail segment is growing, and COVID-19 really just kind of kicked it up a notch. So another really great brand and really great category to get behind. All right, so this is a little bit different. This is Broker's Gin, which we sell, and this is a recipe. It's a cucumber Collins punch. This is a recipe that I made about a month ago for a friend's birthday. I live in an apartment on Chicago Avenue. There's a coach house behind us, and we're really good friends with the people in the coach house. And one of the people turned 30, so I made this punch for a barbecue that we had, a grilling party, and it was a huge hit. So it's just kind of a riff off of a Tom Collins, but I add a bunch of freshly squeezed cucumber juice. Fresh is best, but it doesn't have to be. Mariano sells cucumber juice if you want to go there. But if you're a bar, this is a great batch cocktail you can do. If you're not a bar and you're an off-premise retailer, you could kind of easily put a couple of these things together, do a little menu card on there, and kind of sell multiple products at once. I did this in a big batch, so if anybody wants this recipe, just email me back, and I will get this to you. And then these are just a couple of recipes. Oh, let me go back. So these are a couple of recipes that you can do with some of the products that we had on there. The Two-Hearted Buffalo sauce is something that Bell's sells at their brew pub and restaurant. It's delicious. You can easily put it on some grilled chicken. If you're a bar, no reason why you couldn't incorporate this sauce into your menu and do it with a little upsell. Charge a little bit extra money for it, and then do whatever, like 6 wings and a Bell's Two-Hearted for $12, $15, whatever you want to do. Really easy tie-in to kind of bring up the price of the check. And then here's a recipe for some beer bratwurst that can be done with Two-Headed Boy, Natural Villain, or Boulevard KOLSCH, all brands we covered today, and a recipe for Alaskan amber salmon. These are kind of things where, if you're an off-premise retailer, you could make these into little recipe cards. We could also make these into recipe cards for you if you're interested in that, and put it up with the beers, and hopefully get some additional sales from people who are interested in doing those recipes.